So in this video, I'd like to talk about the power of not knowing. As an ego, as a separate entity, we're trying to use our intellectual capacity to find something outside of ourselves. I talked about this in the video talking about peace and how you'll never find it outside of yourself because peace is what you are. The power of not knowing then comes from when you're in a place of suffering, because only a separate character can suffer, only the ego can suffer. When you're suffering and searching for something outside of yourself, searching for an answer, try to surrender to the power of not knowing. The earlier you put your hands up in this journey and say, actually, I have no fucking clue what life is about. I don't know what this is. The quicker you reach a state of true knowing, which is not an intellectual one. It's not something, it's not something the mind can grasp onto and say, yes, I now know this. It's a deep, innate knowing. It's a knowing that you are. And this is a knowing that can't attach itself to anything, because everything comes from this knowing. You couldn't have a mental concept if there wasn't the underlying knowing that you are. And so the power of not knowing is a tool one can use to get out of mental suffering or seeking, even that seeking energy that people often talk about, that I'm looking for something, I need something to fulfill myself. What is it? What is the answer? In my story, I went through a lot of trying to grab onto some intellectual knowledge, some truth. I thought the truth was outside of me. Although all the spiritual teachers tell you the opposite. They say, oh, it's inside the truth. You know the truth. The truth is a deep knowing. All these words. You can't help but look outside of you. And it was until I just threw my hands up and said, oh, I don't know. I thought about all the times my beliefs had changed. My beliefs are always changing. One year, I might like this politician. The next year, I might think he's a crook. The next year, I might realize they're all crooks. The next year, I might not even be interested in politics. My beliefs are always shifting. But the underlying knowing, or the sense of I am, of presence, has always been there. So by saying, I don't know, by not knowing, is when you're in an ego consciousness, when you're searching, can be an extremely powerful way of becoming present and being in touch with that which truly knows, that you are, that all it is. Everything else is just stories laid on top of it. So that's the power of not knowing. Next time you're suffering, just check how much you really know about what's going on. How much do you really know about this life? Think about how many times your beliefs have changed over the past years, months, days. And then put your attention on what hasn't changed, what is always there. And that's true knowing. Knowing that you are.